Well, hello and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, I'm Bianca. It's so nice to have you here. So today is a video I'm really excited to be filming because I've always loved these kinds of videos myself, not only while going through my first trimester but also while trying to conceive. So I'm currently in my second trimester. There was no way I was going to be filming this even at the end of the first trimester because I was not well. I kept notes going week by week and I have lots here on my phone to go through today, starting with week 4. So I was 5 days late and I thought it was stress related. Almost didn't take a test and it was a diastealer, so really strong line. So much shock. As for symptoms, slight soreness in boobs, which wasn't uncommon, and I often did have that leading up to my period, so I didn't think too much of it at the time. Getting out of breath really easily, even when brushing my teeth. That was really odd for me to have that symptom. I noticed when I was trying to sleep at night, my heart was beating a bit faster than usual. So that I have experienced before when I was pregnant previously. I was thinking, oh yeah, I could be pregnant. But then again, sometimes your heart can just beat fast for whatever reason. You might have had too much coffee that day, for instance. It wasn't really a solid sign for me. But yes, week 4, the positive test was the ultimate confirmation that I was pregnant. Many women will say, oh, I just had a feeling I was pregnant. I just knew it. I just had a gut feeling. I didn't have that. I really didn't, because I really didn't think that I was. And if you have seen my other video, finding out I was pregnant, you'll know a bit more about my story. Okay, so week 5, feeling hotter than usual, hungrier than usual. Around 11 a.m, feeling some mild nausea until I eat. Sense of smells getting stronger, headache on my right temple lately. So feeling hotter than usual was quite odd for me as well, because I do tend to run quite cold. 5.5 weeks, feeling nausea randomly throughout the day. So 5.5 weeks is when the nausea really hit me. Luckily I wasn't vomiting or anything like that, but the nausea was almost just as bad as vomiting, and sometimes I wish I kind of did vomit just to get that sort of relief. Dare I say that? But yeah, it was not nice. So it lasted, it wasn't just morning sickness, it wasn't just in the morning for me. It kind of lasted all day, from morning to right through to evening, and it would come and go in little waves. And like I said, if I ate something small, it would tend to ease it for a little while as well. I was also very hungry shortly after eating, which goes hand in hand with the nausea feeling. So around this time I wasn't able to eat my normal size meals, and I also started to have food aversions as well. And I had quite a lot of food aversions. I really hated the smell of meat, meat cooking and things like that. When I did my own research and spoke to other women, a lot of other women had that as well. Just could not stand the smell or the taste of meat. I was eating meat still, but just very small amount. And I was having such guilt about, oh, why can't I eat my normal meals? Why can't I eat my normal amount? And I wish I could go back and just not have that guilt, because it's okay to experience this nausea, and it must be for a reason on some level. Maybe the body is just being extra cautious of what you're eating, because those early days when baby's developing all the organs and everything, maybe our bodies go into this super heightened protective mode where, any chance of getting some bacteria from meat or something like that, maybe that's where it stems from. I have no idea. But I spoke to my doctor and my midwife, and they all said it's absolutely okay, and it's completely normal to eat less and to have those food aversions, and just to get in what you can. And for some women, like, they have it their whole pregnancy, and I just can't imagine going through that. And I'm so sorry if you go through that, or if you have gone through that. Like, whew, I don't know how you did it, to be honest. Sense of smell as well getting stronger. Like, oh yeah, like I felt like this is a cool superpower to have, but it wasn't a good one, because I remember being at work and someone was heating fish up in the microwave. I was like, oh, like that just made me want to be sick. It was don't put fish in the microwave, people. Ew, 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 ew. Okay, what are we up to? Week 6, peeing more than usual, getting up through the night. Can't stand the thought of coffee or any hot drinks. Make me feel queasy. Feeling nausea all day now. Finding it difficult to eat. Can only eat small amounts at a time. Otherwise I start to feel even more nausea. I went off coffee. I noticed I was still making my little instant coffees in the morning. And I noticed I could only have like maybe a couple of sips, sometimes half of one. And I thought, well, what's the point? I'm wasting coffee. So I just cut it out, because I really didn't feel like it. And then I thought, oh, well, maybe I can have like maybe a tea or some hot chocolate instead of coffee. But just all hot drinks just sounded so terrible to me. So I just ended up, water was my go-to. That was fine. Getting teary over the smallest things. When I was driving the other day, an ambulance drove past me and I started tearing up. Oh yes, I remember this moment. Driving through town, ambulance, mind you, with the lights off, with the sirens off, just casually driving past, and here I am driving, and I just burst into tears. No idea why, just pregnancy hormones. So I'm almost at 26 weeks and I'm still experiencing those heightened emotions, and I still cry really, really easily. So week 7. Week 7 started with more gas than usual. Nausea and food aversions are still very real and consistent. I have my first doctor's appointment today at day 1 of week 7. Overall, feeling positive and feeling some little twinges in my womb on occasion. Dry lips, which is very unusual for me. So week 7, I guess, yeah, was when my lips got really dry. And they didn't go away. I still get a little bit of dryness in my lips, but nowhere near as bad as it was around week 7 through to probably 16 or 17. Really dry lips. Never had that in my life. Constantly applying lip balm. I don't know if it helped or not, because they just stayed dry. Did anyone else have that? I don't know. Is that a normal thing? No idea. The thought of food doesn't gross me out anymore as much as it did the last few weeks. Most nights, the last 2 to 3 weeks, I will wake up randomly in the middle of the night, wide awake, and then take a while to get back to sleep. Starting to feel some subtle, stretchy feelings in my womb. 7 weeks, 3 days is best I've felt so far. Starting to get strong cravings for really specific foods. Today I craved a sausage roll and an iced coffee. I haven't had a coffee in like 3 weeks, and went and got it, and the iced coffee was surprisingly delicious. So that, yeah, starting to be slowly okay with coffee again. I felt great after it, probably because of the high protein in the milk, and honestly probably because of the sugar in there as well. Also craved lollies, mac and cheese and orange juice today. Have had very little nausea today and actually felt human again. Did have some in the morning though. I'm happy to actually be craving foods, and the thought of food being appetizing feels great, as opposed to not wanting to eat anything. 7 weeks, 5 days, felt the best yet today. So it's starting to slowly get better. Week 8. And I do want to say, so I'm up to week 8, but I do want to say I definitely was feeling really, really hopeful in these early weeks. It can be a super scary, nerve-wracking, anxiety-ridden time for a lot of women, especially those who've gone through loss or infertility. So I was feeling some nerves and some anxiety, in those early weeks, just counting down to week 12 when it's a bit more like you're in the safe zone past that point, and when you're going into the second trimester and after your first scan and everything. But having said that, I felt really positive, and I felt like just really at peace and calm, and that this was going to be a positive time and safe pregnancy. And I think a lot of that had to do with a lot of positive self-talk, reading a lot of positive affirmations. Probably the biggest thing was taking it day by day, not thinking too far ahead, just really focusing on the day, just getting through the day, and just having peace day to day, and really trying to be living in the moment. I think that was like one of the best things, and I know that's easier said than done, but it definitely helped me a lot. Feeling a bit better this week, still can only eat small amounts at each meal, and still having a lot of food aversion. Starting to enjoy very small amounts of coffee again, like half a mug of instant coffee once a day. So yeah, I started making smaller amounts of coffee. So instead of making a whole mug, I just make half, because that's all I could kind of stomach. And I remember around this time, there was a few moments where I went out with family to like a pub to have like a nice lunch or something like that, or a cafe. And I remember ordering this lamb meal. It was like this epic lamb meal. It was pretty pricey actually, but I was like, oh yeah, that sounds really, really good. That sounds amazing. Protein, get some bit of red meat into me. And then as soon as it arrived and it was put in front of me, I was like, oh, like the smell of it was just absolutely terrible. And I had tried to have a few bites and it just made me want to throw up. So I just thought, you know what, my brother and my dad can eat that, so at least it didn't go to waste. But that happened a few times with a few different meals, and so I think I kind of just stopped eating out at that point, because it was like kind of like a waste of money. Milk or milk type drinks like Up and Go or warm Milo is like a savior to me, maybe due to the high protein. Oh yeah, Up and Goes, if you're familiar with those, these like popper drinks, and they kind of got, I think they got what, like cereals in them and lots of vitamins and things like that. They're probably not the most healthy things in the world, even though they've got lots of vitamins and minerals and protein in them. It's one of the only things that I could stomach, and it got me through the morning nausea, so I just allowed myself to have those. And they were a savior to me, definitely. I found myself a bit concerned this week as my symptoms have eased a bit. So that was week 8. Okay. So, isn't that funny? I don't remember this actually happening. I'm so glad I wrote everything down. Symptoms have eased a bit, probably silly. Haven't felt much in my womb region like I did at week 7, where I had that stretchy type of feeling. Definitely have strong sense of smell still. Ooh, excuse me. My boobs aren't really sore at all, which is surprising, but they were only slightly sore about a week ago. Tomorrow it will be 4 weeks to go until my first scan, which will be, personally I wanted to wait till 12 weeks to do the scan. Just a personal preference that I wanted to wait till that mark to have the scan, which was like a dating scan, I think they call it. We can hopefully find out the gender. That is a very exciting thought. I have a feeling it's a girl. If you don't know already, it is a girl. We found out, I think it was the 20-week scan. So yeah, my first gut feeling was correct. After actually having the 12-week scan and seeing the image, I had really strong boy vibes, and so did my partner Gillen. Not sure why, but we just had really strong boy vibes, and then yeah, we later found out no, it's definitely a girl. It's hard to be too excited yet, but somehow this time around I feel protected. I feel like God or the universe is protecting me, and I trust the universe so much that it eases my worries. So many people know my journey with infertility and loss, and I'm actually really excited to let everyone know, and I think it will be a huge surprise to many people. It certainly was for Killen and I. The biggest blessing, the best surprise ever. Randomly emotional still. Tonight I burst into tears when Missy Higgins started playing live on TV. Oh yeah, I remember that. Missy Higgins, yeah, she's a beautiful singer. She's singing, I can't remember which song, but yeah, tugged at my heartstrings. Okay, week 9. Still feeling much the same. Not getting worse, but feel like I have learnt to manage the nausea simply by eating small amounts through the day and being picky about what I do eat, because some foods just made me feel worse, or even the smell of them just was a big nope. A lot of food smells terrible still, especially meat, interestingly. I can't stand super sweet tasting things, and I still kind of get that now and again. If I have something really sweet, like a really sweet dessert or something, it kind of like is a bit sickly. Down to 57 kilos now, and I was 59 prior to getting pregnant. Okay, so I noticed I lost about 2 kilos around week 9, and honestly I feel like that's just goes hand in hand with eating less. Just something that happened. Thankfully I have put on kilos since then as baby grows and as I'm eating quite normal again as well now, so that's really good and really positive. I remember the doctor saying that she expects me to put on between 9 and 15 kilos by the end of the pregnancy. I was like, whoa, that is a lot. Because apparently a baby at their full size weighs around 3 kilos-ish. So then I'm like, where's all that other weight coming from? And a lot of it's probably like the placenta, the extra blood, the extra fluids. Apparently our blood doubles in volume, which is insane. But I guess it's very much needed for, when we give birth, then you lose some of that blood and things. Body is quite amazing, isn't it? Week 10. This week I am feeling pretty good, maybe more emotional than anything. Get teary at very random things. This is a common theme, isn't it? Like I put a book on hold that had been, put a library book on hold that had been transferred from another library, and the very same day I got a text saying it was ready for pickup. I got teary over that. Because I thought, wow, that is so nice of them. And again, with the ambulance, I had another ambulance encounter. Got teary again. And almost any song that is slightly emotional that comes on the radio, I'll just start crying. Still picky with food. Plain is best. Oh yeah. So like avocado on toast, plain crackers, fruit. I never went off fruit. It's always something that I've been able to eat, and I started craving salads as well. 2 more weeks until our first scan. I'm praying that all will be well, and I truly believe it will be. Week 11. Tiredness is getting more prevalent, especially during the day at work, which is unusual for me. So tiredness for me really wasn't a thing, honestly, until like recently, probably like 2 weeks ago. So around like week 22 or something like that, I started having like day naps, and I actually think my iron was starting to get a little low. Not diagnosed with like low iron at this point, but it's always like whenever I've had it tested, and I've had it tested recently at the first doctor's appointment, they said it was like just over the line of being okay. And I do recall the doctor saying it's probably a good idea just to take some iron tablets of my choice, just to give me a little top up, because pregnancy does lower your iron again. That baby, you know, does affect us, and they like to take all our goodness. So I have started taking Multifa, and that's been really amazing. And ever since I've started taking that tiredness is nowhere near what it was. So I dare say I do have a blood test coming up soon, so that would be good to see what my levels are at then. Week 12 was the exciting week, because that was when we had the first scan, and I'll put in a little clip here. The ultrasound was really such a relief, getting confirmation that baby was there in the uterus, and being able to see the little heart flickering on the screen. The sonographer wouldn't let us listen to the heartbeat at 12 weeks. They said something like it just wasn't advised that early on. We'll listen to it at the next scan. But seeing that little flickering heartbeat on the screen was just so amazing, and that all of any anxiety that I did have, I had a little bit, of course, it just melted away when I saw that little heartbeat. It was just such a relief. And then the last thing I have under week 12 was still having nausea. And a lot of people said, you know what, once week 12 comes around, you'll have pretty much no nausea anymore. I still did, it still lingered for a little bit more. I'm not sure what week it totally went away, probably completely. I'm gonna say probably week 13 to 14 it really went away, and I no longer get it. Hallelujah. Because I remember thinking, I never want to be pregnant again, this is terrible. It's just, it really is. And I feel like, you know, you hear women talk about how terrible nausea is, but until you go through it, I feel like you just don't really know. Thank you so much for watching this video. Oh, just in case you want a little bump update, I'll give you one. Can kind of fit on the screen there. If you are going through your first trimester, let me know down below how you're going, if you've had any of these symptoms yourself, or if you've been pregnant before, did you experience any of these symptoms yourself? If you've liked the video, give me a little thumbs up. It really does help to support my little channel, and feel free to subscribe down below as well, and I'll see you really soon in my next video. Bye.